Hey there, boys and girls. My adult friends, because this video was not made for children. Stupid laws they've got these days. I can't believe this stuff. They're starting to really mess up everything online for everyone. And most of that has to do with the fact that they're trying to protect children, and I get that, but I think they're over-trying and they're overprotecting. And they're causing a lot of problems. So does everybody hear me okay? Coin Junkie does. So I think there's not a whole lot of us in here. I'm late. I apologize. I'm late because, well, I've been working myself a lot lately, and I'm trying to, I guess my body's trying to catch up. Yeah, Sunday cat naps are always good, especially when you get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and start working. By 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I was pretty skunked. I was probably dead. So right now what I'm doing is I'm filling my flip inserts, and I'm trying to get caught up here. So I figured I'd come on and talk with you guys for a while whilst I work on getting that together. It'll take me another couple of minutes to get that finished up. Hey, Jeremy. A Wild Bill. Hurlstormer. I'm glad you guys are here. I'm glad you were patient and waited for me. Of course, what choice did you have? But I like being able to get everything done appropriately prior to the show. Simply because during the show, it just makes things go a lot slower when I'm trying to stuff inserts and everything else. But we'll get half of these done, and we'll start the show. And I'll do the other half while the show's going on, I think. I hope. Here's our roll anyway, right there. It's 1956D. Original Fed Reserve wrapped roll from the Federal Reserve Bank of Los Angeles, the Los Angeles branch of the Fed Reserve Bank of San Francisco. Hello, Treasure Tolls. Steve Elliott. Steve Elliott, you missed the buy-in on this one simply because it was done last night during a late scheduled reveal, and it was basically as a small thank you to the people who were able to watch on a Sunday evening. It's a kind of a special roll event. It's not one of the regular buy-ins. We will have regular buy-ins come Tuesday. It'll be Tuesday evening. And I discussed last night what they were going to be, but I can discuss that again right now while I'm flipping these inserts. I have a couple of special rolls. A couple of special rolls that we don't generally see. How about that? That's a dime roll. That's 1962 Philadelphia dime roll. And here is a 1956 Philadelphia nickel roll. Now, on top of that, we have an original bank wrap roll of 1983 Lincoln cents. Those will all be offered for this coming week. The 1962 dime roll, those are all brilliant uncirculated 1962 dimes in an original wrapper. So we're talking about minimum value of $5 to $8 per coin just because they're brilliant uncirculated 1962 dimes. So we're talking about coins that could be toning in there, who knows. But they're probably going to be blast white, beautiful, gem condition 1962 dimes. So if you're working on a Roosevelt set, or if you just want an example of a fresh, beautiful, shiny 1962 dime, you'll want to get in on that one. I'm going to do those at $3 a coin. $3 a coin. You can't do a whole lot better than that. Then the nickels, those are going to come at $2 a coin. Those are brand new BU 1956 Philadelphia Jefferson nickels. And then the other one that we've all been waiting for, we have a 1983 Philadelphia Lincoln cent roll. 1983 Philadelphia. We all know what comes in 1983 Philadelphia. We've got some double die obverses, but we have one massive double die reverse and a number of relatively nice errors, a second double die reverse. So you never know what kind of pretties could come out of this roll. And so that one's going to be $3 a coin. So will be $3 a coin on the 83 Lincoln cents. Will be $3 a coin on the 1962 dimes. And will be $2 a coin on the 1956 nickels. I hope that variety is good for everybody. I asked the other night, and everybody was really excited about getting into a dime roll. So I have a original, brand new 1962 dime roll. Hey, C-Mus Omaha. I tell you what, my bedhead is not that great looking. I can tell you that for sure. This is after a spritz. Wait a minute. I need to go on this side with those. And this needs to move over there. And that needs to go like that. Okay. Now, here's our rolls for later. I'm not going to do those today. Oops, I dropped a couple. I don't want to do that. Okay, in here I have 48 names on 48 tags. And the 48 names on 48 tags are going to go with the 49 and 50, which say free on them. When I draw this, one of these, the person whose name I drew before this tag gets a free coin, the next coin in the roll. If I draw the second one after the first one, that same person gets both free coins. So we've got 2 free coins in the roll. That's going in there. And then we've got this little guy right here. When I draw that, the person whose name I drew right before that will get the wrapper that goes with the roll. So there's all that. Here's my trusty bag right there. And so I should have 51 total pieces in here. 48 names, 2 freebies, plus 1 for the wrapper. There's that. I have thoroughly washed my hands prior to this event. And here goes the roll unveiling. My afternoon's doing great, Robert. I kind of wish it were a little bit earlier. I made the mistake of deciding to take a little cat nap this afternoon. And instead of a cat nap, it turned into a couple of hours of sleep. And so I ended up waking up a little bit late and didn't have my prep work done for this. So I had to work out my prep work. But we're doing okay now. Everything's good. While Bill, the dimes, buy-in on the dimes will be Tuesday after the auction. So I may run them as part of the auction. That way we can get those done concurrently with the auction. But it's going to be sometime after 8 p.m. Tuesday evening. All right, there's our roll of 50 coins right there. I see no issues right off the bat, so it looks like a good roll. And here's our wrapper. So let's go ahead and get started. Coin number 1. Coin number 1 in the roll goes to Joe McBride. Let's see what Joe McBride gets. Okay, we know this is the roll end coin, so it's probably not going to have the condition that we're exactly looking for. But you never know what you end up with as far as toning and other things are concerned from these. Look at those die scratches. Man, that's some real concentric die scratches going on there. Big old swirl of die scratches in front of the face. That's going to be our marker for that particular die. It's going to show us that we found nothing on this one. Well, they continue on over here. There's Huge swirl of die scratches. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that on the 56D issue yet. Okay, and we have nothing to speak of on the obverse of this one, and I have never found anything worth talking about on the reverse of a 56D Lincoln Cent. So, that doesn't tell me don't look at the reverses. That tells me look at the reverses extra hard, because if we find something, we're going to get something really good out of it. And already I see some pretty strong machine doubling going on the reverse. But that's what that is. That's definitely machine doubling. And so no double die. And coin number 1 turns out to be a Choice to Gem normal 1956D Lincoln Cent. I draw for coin number 2. Haven't missed anything yet, Stonecutter. Luckily for you, I was sleeping in. Deanne gets the next one. Let's see what Deanne's coin looks like. We have a little bit of harshness on the lighting, and I think that's because I had those proof coins going, and I've kind of reset my camera. That's the best we can do with the lighting today. And we look around, see if we find anything here. And I'm not seeing anything. We do have a couple of double die obverses to watch for. We have doubled eyes. We have one double die obverse, or 2, that involve Liberty, and little bars below the B and the L in Liberty. We have a number of repunchment marks. We have 2 overmint marks, or what I call overmint marks. Kaneka calls one of them nothing, and they call the other one a, what did they call it? They call it an RPM. It's RPM number 12. I still call them OMMs because they look like S's to me. Oh, Deanne, I got to get your name in there. I have not charged anyone for these yet. I will be sending out invoices as soon as this is over. I know it's a little bit reversed in scope, but I meant to send them out last night and I didn't get to it. So Hurlstormer gets coin number 3. Coin number 3 in the roll looks like this. And we would be looking also for like an S between the 1 and 9 of the date. We're looking for a D below the D. There's all sorts of interesting things that we'll be looking for in this roll. Hello, Arizona Coins. We're doing great. We're doing just fine. Coming up so far with just a plain roll. Plain uncirculated roll of 1956 Denver Lincoln Cents. But because it was an original bank wrap roll, we have no idea what's inside. And that's what we're here for. Gonna find out. Alright, Hurlstormer gets a normal coin. Chris Vines. Next coin goes to Chris Vines. Let's see if we have anything in here. Not seeing anything there. Nothing under Liberty. Just a few spots on this coin. Check the eye for doubled eyelid. And nothing there. So let me move on to the reverse. See what's going on the other side of the coin. Okay. Well, it appears as we have a normal coin again. Normal coin lives happily right over here. Now it's going to go into a flip and go to Chris Vines. Hey folks, hit that like button if you haven't done it already. Not only is it free to you, but it actually helps me. Oh, look at that. Chris Vines gets the next coin. Because it's one of the freebies. And he's new to the family. Oh, yeah, look at that. Unfortunately, it turns out to be a normal 1956 D Lincoln cent from all appearances so far. But it's free. So this is one of the 2 free coins in the roll. And Chris Vines gets it. Brother, you're not late. I'm the one that's late. I didn't show up until 20 minutes after, so we should be most of the way finished by now, and we're just getting started. So you haven't missed anything. And you just won a free normal 1956 D Lincoln cent. Let me write your name on this here. Be sure I remember who to give it to. How did I write your name on it? Is it Chris V? No, C. Vines. There we go. That's coin number 5 in the roll. Chris Vines gets that one. So you're going to have at least 3 coins in this roll. We have one more freebie to give out. There we go. It's coin number 5. Let's draw for coin number 6 and see what happens. Coin number 6 will be Mr. Marshall. New Marshall in town will get this coin, on which I see nothing yet. Of course, I will be going through this roll again. Those of you who were here last night for the unveiling of the 1963 proof roll, we turned up a number of different dies. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What did we do here? Yeah, 5 different dies. 5 different double dice that came from the roll last night, the 1963 proof roll. And all of them were new listings. 5 different dies, total of 6 coins. Ooh, there's a nice little die break there. Yep, 5 different dies, 6 different coins. One of the coins was repeated to a second example in the roll. Hi, EUP Coins and Treasures. Okay. The first thing that you have to do is register with us. If you register with us, we will know who you are. You send an email to send an email to coppercoinspayments@gmail.com. That's coppercoinspayments@gmail.com. Send an email to that email address. Let us know your YouTube screen name, your real full name, and your PayPal email address. Dylan Michnick, first coin for you, brother. Very first coin. Here we go. Well, got a little bit of a clash mark. You send us that information, and we'll get you registered. After we register you, you have to be around during a period of time that I get into selling one of these rolls. Now, what we're doing here is we're opening an original Fed-wrapped roll. This right here. Original Fed-wrapped roll. We just opened it today. First time ever. It's a 1956 Denver roll. Now, people paid to be in this roll. And what was it, $3.50 a spot? For the opportunity to pick up either high-grade gem coins or die varieties or errors or something that could come out of an original bank-wrapped roll. We've not found anything of mark yet in this particular roll, but there's been other rolls that we found some real good stuff. And people will tell you that we have found some really good stuff. PJ Curtis, next coin's for you. And so if you're around when we're selling one of the rolls, which generally these rolls go up for sale Tuesday evenings around 10 p.m. Eastern Time after the 8 o'clock auction. Or they will be sold. I think we're going to start selling them during the auction. They're going to go as one of the lots in the auction. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start selling these. Oh, wow. Man, that one's pretty late die state. It looks like this one's about to fall apart. And what we do is we make the 50 coins in the roll available to you to purchase, generally with limits, because you have to be there, and you have to be there, well, ready to pull the trigger. Because I tell you what, usually these rolls sell out inside of a minute to 2 minutes, usually. I'm trying to get a piece of stuff cleared out of the flip insert here. There we go. There's a piece of crumb or something inside there. Don't understand why, but it was there nonetheless. But when we go to sell these, Deanne gets the next coin in the roll. Let me put PJ's name in here. When we sell these, we schedule another time to actually go through the roll, like we're doing right now. When we go through the roll, the actual coin that I pull off the roll, so Deanne's name was pulled. She already paid for a spot here. I put it inside of a bag. I'm drawing names out of a bag. I got a whole bunch of names in here that I'm drawing out of a bag. And then the next coin on the end of the roll goes to Deanne. And this coin will actually belong to Deanne because she paid for this coin. Now, whatever happens to be on this coin belongs to Deanne. I don't keep anything behind. I don't have any gimmicks, no special anything. She gets a spotty, normal 1956D Lincoln cent for her spot, but it could have been a real high value coin. You happen to be watching a roll currently that we're 9 coins into the roll and haven't picked anything of any real value yet. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to try to find something of value so that people actually win with the rolls. And so we do this. I'm looking at probably between 3 and 6 of them per week. Dell's Treasures. First time coin. Here we go. You know. And it appears as though we've got nothing going on here. I'm looking under the B of Liberty for a little nub. I'm looking around the mint mark, in the mint mark, and around the date for any extra mint mark punching. I'm looking for a doubled eyelid because there are doubled eyelids known for 1956 Denver. I'm looking at In God We Trust just in case there happens to possibly be doubling. And then, just as kind of a Hail Mary, I'm looking at the reverse for hub doubling to see if there's any doubled dies on the reverse that we don't know about because so far nothing's been reported for 1956 Denver. There is a little die break on the end of the T of cent. The stuff that you see up here, that's die deterioration doubling. That's the same thing that happened with the 1955 poor man's double. Basically what happens is the die starts to chip out. When it starts to chip out, you get an extra ridge line toward the outside of the design. Hello, Rick. And so Dell's Treasures has a nothing coin in this roll. Let's see what we've got next. Mr. Dowdle. Mr. Dowdle's first coin in this roll. And what do we have? Not seeing anything there. Okay, nothing on that side. We've been through a couple of 1956 proof rolls lately, and they produced some really super double die reverses. A couple of really nice double die obverses came out of those too. Nothing so far in this roll. 11 coins in. Mr. Dowdle, coin number 11 proved to be normal. Coin number 12. Hey, Jessica. Belongs to Paul Hampton. Coin number 12. And I'm seeing nothing here so far on the obverse. Ah, there's a big patch of struck through grease there. So grease struck through. The T in trust is almost missing because of that. We may see some more of that through this roll because sometimes that's repeated. The gunk, instead of being on the coin, is actually on the die. So as many times as a die mints coins with that gunk on it, you're going to get coins that show an imprint from that gunk. All right, Mr. Hampton, other than a grease-filled die on the obverse, we have a normal coin. Dog's sitting outside. Daddy, Daddy, you forgot me. Daddy, Daddy, you forgot me. Let me in. Kid Did Okay gets the next coin. Kid Did Okay has been around for quite a while, but she's relatively new to the family as far as pick and die varieties is concerned. In these rolls, got another coin here that has a die clash. See that line extending left from the 1 of the date? That is a clash of the E of 1 on the other side of the coin, the other side of the die. If we were to flip it over and take a look at exactly opposite this point, you're looking at the E of 1. And what happened to create that little indentation is the two dies slammed together. See right there? There's part of the C of cent. Yeah, a nice little die clash going on there. Yeah, if I flip it upside down, it'll be a little more legible. So you're looking at part of the C of cent right there from the reverse of the coin. So the two dies slammed together with no planchet between them, and they transposed their designs to one another. So the obverse and reverse designs kind of hit each other and they mix together. And then subsequent coins minted by that die have that same mark. I'm showing where the head was completely polished off of this side, so nothing going on here. Okay, so we got a die clash on the obverse of this coin. That's Kid Did Okay. If you will excuse me for a moment, I will go let my dog in. Hang on just a moment. Come on, baby.
Oh, it's just if you want to go out.
That's good. Okay, here we are. We have Sherman with us. Hey, Sherm, over here. Over here. Say hi to Shermcam. Sherman, hey, take a look. There. Look, who's that? Oh, that's Sherman. All right. Here we go. Next coin in the roll. Coin number 14. We'll go to Coin Dragon. Coin Dragon gets coin number 14 in the roll. And we have a lot of fluff going on around the 9 of the date. It's always interesting to take a look at that because there is an RPM known where the D was actually punched inside the tail of the 9 of the date, but this is not one of those. Okay, so I'm showing nothing here. What, you come in, you find out I'm broadcasting, you want to leave. Well, okay. I'm sure these people won't mind if I let you out. Let you go back to Mama. Oh, you're busy. You're not ready to go for a walk. I'll go see if Mama's ready. Mama will take me for a walk. Hello, Bill 457. How this works. You're already registered with us, I believe. But you have to be registered with us as a bidder. And then during particular moments, I decide to announce that I'm going to be doing a roll reveal. And then I make the spots in that roll for sale. New Marshall gets the next one. And then what we do, we schedule a time where hopefully I'm not sleeping through. And I come in and actually open the roll and we go through and examine every coin in the roll. And as I go through the coins, I'm picking names out of a bag. person whose name I drew gets the next coin in the roll. It's pretty simple. Die break on the E of 1. And so this particular coin goes to Marshall. It's coin number 15 in the roll. I put the coin in here. Then I put Mr. Marshall's name there. I put it in the stack with the rest of the coins. Next time I mail to Mr. Marshall, he will get that coin. Chuck Patillo gets the next one. So you have to be around when I announce these are going to be for sale. It takes roughly an hour to go through a roll and look at all the coins. And then when I'm finished, if we found anything, I go through and I attribute everything that we found. If it happens to be a new listing for Coppercoins, you'll get credit for that new listing because the coin belongs to you. And if I photograph that coin, then you get the credit for the photos on the coin because, well, it's your coin. And I may even do photos of a coin that's already been listed. Here's Matt 83. So if I do photos, replacement photos of a die that's already listed, I replace the photos on the website with the new photos. And then, well, you'll get credit for that, for the coin. Because the coin belongs to you. And that's all a part of paying for the spot where the coin comes out of in the roll. Anyone watching who wants to register with us to bid in our auction Tuesday evening, which will include these roll reveals, you can register by sending an email to coppercoinspayments@gmail.com. You send an email to coppercoinspayments@gmail.com. We need your YouTube screen name, your real name, and your PayPal email address. When we have that information, you are registered. There is no cost. There is no ticket price to get in. Hurlstormer. Next coin in the roll goes to Hurlstormer. So far, I'm finding that this has been a completely normal roll of 1956 Denver Lincoln cents. Unfortunately so. So here's how this works. If I get all the way through this roll and haven't found any valuable die varieties at all, we're going to do another roll of 1956 Ds. But for that, I would need to charge you an extra 50 cents per coin. So if we make it all the way through this, everyone here, or everyone involved, will be billed the extra 50 cents per coin with a note saying, please contact me if you do not want to pay for the additional roll. Or you can just pay the invoice. Normal coins are nice. Die varieties are nicer. Dell's Treasures gets the next coin in the roll. So if we make it through this roll without finding anything of mark, we'll talk about what we're going to do next. And looking at all the different spots that I need to look at. For a die variety, I'm not finding anything on this one. And let me move over to the other side of the coin. And so far I see nothing on this side either. You use PayPal, but you can't get money on PayPal? Is that because you don't have it connected to a bank account? You have to have it connected to a bank account. Then you can transfer money to your PayPal account from your bank account. Okay, Deanne gets the next coin. That's coin number 20. So far, we're looking like we're pulling a normal roll out of this. Oh, it's a fresh looking coin there. A little tiny divot on the rim up there. Couple of little spots here and there. But man, this is a really fresh coin. This is a nice gem coin here. Reverse has one little spot below the O of. Otherwise, a really nice gem coin. So Deanne gets a nice gem coin. Okay, I understand. Well, if you sell stuff, which is why you would be using a PayPal account, and you got extra in the PayPal account, at some point you can get involved. Jeff Dunn gets the next coin in the roll. All you have to do is be around when we announce the opening of a roll. Just be around when we announce the opening of a roll, and you can get in on buying coins in that roll. Of course, the other thing is I generally do a lot of chit-chatting and talking about the coins that I'm looking through while I'm looking through the roll. And some people, even those who have not become involved in actually buying coins out of the roll, get a really good shot of education just by watching. There's a little toning in the middle of this one. Hey, Brian's World Mechanic. We're almost halfway through a 1956 D roll in which we have found nothing yet. No errors, no varieties. Joe McBride. Next coin in the roll goes to Joe McBride. Finding a lot of stuff with a little chatter around the 9. But I'm not seeing anything that really looks like a die variety yet. A little story about something I did yesterday, and some of you would have heard this already, but I just thought it was really cool. I live in North Carolina. I just moved to North Carolina a couple of months ago from Florida. And so I've lived in South Florida for a decade before that. And my father moved to Florida and lived there not far from us with his wife. Still lives there. But I don't. So I knew that my dad was born in North Carolina, and I knew that his mother and grandparents and whatnot had lived in North Carolina. And in fact, North Carolina is part of the reason why I'm here today, because my grandfather was in the Marine Corps, and he was at Parris Island, and he met my grandmother while he was at Parris Island. And she's from North Carolina, and my grandfather is from Ohio. They ended up getting married and having children, and one of those children was my father. And where her family had lived prior to them meeting is in this area. And when my father was a child, he used to go visit his grandparents in North Carolina. And my grandfather was the maintenance man, mechanic, and boiler person for a local school out in the country. On a bend in a country road. They lived right behind the school in a stick house, and he did his job in the school. So, on my way home from the Fayetteville, North Carolina show yesterday, I dropped by to take a look at this school and take some pictures. I took some pictures with my phone, sent them to my dad. My dad says, "Yep, you're in the right place. That's it." And it was really cool that I was able to talk with him about it and give him some of his memories back of a schoolhouse that he probably hadn't visited since the 1960s. And I met my great-grandfather one time in probably 1973. Never knew him, really. He passed away shortly after that first time I met him, and I was scared of him then because he was in a big wicker wingback wheelchair. And I was afraid of that wheelchair. Didn't know what that old man was doing in there. Of course, in 1973, I was only about 6 years old, 5 years old. It's kind of understandable that I didn't really understand what was going on at the time. And I never met my great-grandmother. I think she passed away the year before I was born. And so I just got to go look at the old Thompson property where my grandmother's parents had lived. I just thought that was kind of cool. Here I am, over 50 years old, and I had never been to my great-grandfather's place. And yesterday I was. I have other great-grandparents that I met and saw pretty regularly when I was a little kid. Probably one of the notables about that is my great-grandmother on my father's dad's side, my father's dad's mother. She was born in 1900. She passed away in 2000. She was 100 years old. So I knew her pretty well. That one was Levels of Madness. We're halfway through the roll now, and we've not found anything yet. Oh, Levels of Madness gets the next coin. And this is the last free coin in the roll. And we might have a very slight minor RPM there, but we do have what appears to be a pretty strong case of machine doubling. Take a look at that. Should be on the face too. Yep, there it is, right there on the face. We've got machine doubling. You can see it in the 1-9 of the date. And you move over here and you can see it in the ERTY of Liberty. That's pretty cool. It doesn't count. Doesn't count. It's not a die variety. It's not a real error. So Levels gets himself a nice little piece of machine doubling for free. And we still go on our streak of a roll with nothing in it. So let's write Levels on this one. And Levels of Madness gets coin number 26 as well as coin number 25. Now what happens with the next roll I do with the same people, we're still going to have 48 spots and we're still going to have 2 free coins. But those 2 free coins will go back in the bag as free coins and they won't go to the same people necessarily. Mr. Dowdle gets the next coin in the roll. And so just for the people that we have already done a roll reveal for right here, this 1956D roll, we will make another 1956D roll available at 50 cents per coin. That's as low as I can possibly do those. 50 cents per coin, we'll go through another 1956D roll. And it will be for you folks whose names show up in this roll. Sherm, go. Sherm's got a slobbery snout all over everything. Hang on, folks. Let me let him back out. I shall return momentarily. Go. Go. Go, go, go. Go see Mama. Go see Mama. Come on. Let's go see Mama. Go, 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 go. Okay, we may hear some echoes from the rest of the house because I just left the door open. Okay, and here we go. Back on it. Coin number 28. Dr. Pepper. I'm a pepper. You're a pepper. She's a pepper. He's a pepper. Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too? Dr. Pepper. Drink Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper. Drink Dr. Pepper. Those are commercials from way back. Way back. Being nostalgic about my father's grandfather, I'm going through commercials from the early 1970s or 1980s. And we found nothing yet so far in this roll, so I'm kind of hammering through it just to see what we come up with. If we come up with anything at all. I'm hoping we find goodies in here, but if we don't, well, it's luck of the draw. It's kind of one of those things. You go through rolls, and sometimes I can go through 25 rolls and not find one single good thing. But at least with you guys paying what you're paying to take a chance, it's like a lottery ticket on a coin. Well, what I want to do is give you a really good deal for your money. Paul Hampton. And I want to give you a good chance to get what you came looking for. And I know what you came looking for is a little bit more than brilliant uncirculated Lincoln cents. You came looking for something of value. And, well, I'm going to do my best to try to provide that to you within reason. This is an original roll, so there was no way of predicting what would come out in this roll. Dr. Pepper was the 10, 2, and 4 thing. Yes, it did. It meant drink 3 a day, 1 at 10, 1 at 2, and 1 at 4. Exactly why 10, 2, 4, I have no idea. All right, that was P. Hampton, coin number 29. Coin number 30 will go to Kid Did Okay. Kid Did Okay's coin shows us spots. It's got spots. I don't like spots. We always take these chances when we open original bank wrap rolls. We have no idea what we're getting into. Realize, folks, that it is at least somewhat likely that no human being has ever viewed this coin before. That these were machine created, machine wrapped, machine bagged, then machine wrapped, put into a vault, sold from the vault, put into a collection, eventually sold to me, all within the wrapper that they originally went into in 1956. And here I am opening them up, and we're looking at them. Earl Stormer, next coin is for you. Let's see what we got here. I have opened rolls where I have found valuable coins as one of the last few coins of the roll. I have opened rolls that have one example of a double die or one example of a repunchment mark, and none of the other coins had anything on them. I have opened rolls where 48 out of the 50 coins were die varieties. I have opened a number of different rolls, a number of different kinds of rolls, different denominations. I've opened all sorts of ages, years. We've seen this die before because we have this little die break on the edge of the T, plus we've also got that what I call shadow doubling above pluribus. That's a result of die deterioration. It's die wear. It makes that kind of doubling. You have relatives that went to California and bought hotels. Was this by any chance during the Depression? Hey, Tennessee Copper. Coin Dragon gets the next coin in the roll. And let's see what Coin Dragon gets. Okay. Nothing there. Nothing there. Nothing over here. Did we get another? Yeah, a little bit of a greaser. See all those little marks going in different directions? They look like little pieces of fiber laying on the coin. Basically what that is that's the fibrous grit inside the gunk that was the grease laying on the die when the coin was struck. And because it wasn't clean, you're looking at an indentation from dirt, basically. And that dirt left its mark as little spots in the surface of the coin. You can see that they're just little minor, little tiny, very minor spots, and you have to turn the coin just right to be able to see it. And the reason I recognize that was there is because the tea and trust is weak. Well, tea and trust is weak is because it's half filled with grease. Grease and whatever other muckety muck makes up the crud that filled the die. See, here's another little spot of it right there, and that's pretty common. This particular area here isn't grease. This particular area right here is weakness in the strike. That means that the field of the coin above and to the left of the O of 1 was not struck as heavily as other parts of the coin, thus allowing the little marks all over the blank planchet to come through into the coin because it wasn't struck heavily enough to completely obliterate those marks. Hey there, Mantic. I think I remember you getting spots in this roll, and I don't remember seeing your name come out yet, so we still have hope. High hopes. Jeff Dunn. Jeff Dunn gets the next coin in the roll. But the problem with this roll here is that we are 32 coins in. See, there's another one. This one actually has a little struck through right there at the rim. There was a piece of garbage on the die large enough to create an indentation on the coin. This one's also a split skull. If you look on the forehead above the eye, you can see a long die crack, and that die crack kind of extends up into the hair. If I turn it this way, you'll see the die crack's a little bit better. You can see that one above the eye, and then there's the one in the hair. That's a sign of a very late die state coin. Another sign of a very late die state coin is that you see all the fuzziness on the outside edges of the letters toward the rim. That's where the die is actually chipping away while the die is striking coins. And the outside edges of the design start to chip away completely. So we have a very late die state coin on the obverse. And because the dies are not necessarily paired together and used as pairs all the way through their life, your obverse die and your reverse die can have different die states. Because your obverse die may have been hung and struck 40,000 coins, and then they hung a new reverse die with that obverse die. You're going to have a mid die state obverse with an early or very early die state reverse. And so you can have two different die states for the two different sides of the coin. That in itself can be a marker toward identifying a die variety. Starbuck. See how I did that? Starbuck. Name was too long to write. So as Starbuck becomes involved, this is his first roll. As Starbuck becomes involved, you'll see that a little more often where you'll see a star with Buck. And that's because, well, it's too long to write. And it's not that I'm lazy, it's just that these little things are 1 1/2 inches long. And only so much magic marker can fit on 1 1/2 inches. All right. Yeah, I've got something for Schumacher, actually. One of those ones that he was showing off as being like majorly severe. I have a nice BU example of one of those. It's got like multiple cracks all over the head, and it's got all kinds of neat stuff, and it's a nice gem BU coin. Paul Hampton gets the next coin in the roll. Folks, it looks like we're probably going to just come out of this with a normal roll of 50 coins, because it's what it's appearing to be. So, Penny Parent, here's what we need to do. We need to get a new line set up in the spreadsheet where we can put everybody in again. Actually, yeah, or we can put everybody in again at 50 cents a coin. Those people who choose to opt in will be able to get in on the second roll for the exact number of spots that you purchased in the first roll at 50 cents per coin. Instead of the $3 plus that you paid for these, you would pay 50 cents for those. I will contact everyone and let them know that the roll turned out to be a completely and totally normal roll, so we're going to give it another shot and see what happens. So, for instance, if you bought 3 coins in this roll, you have the opportunity to purchase 3 coins in the next 1956 D roll I open at $1.50 total. It's 50 cents per coin. That's my way of telling you, sorry we didn't get anything in this roll, let's try it again. Coin Dragon. As you're in here showing faces, we'll look at your next coin. Let's see. Yeah, nothing there. Nothing there. And as with the other coins in the roll, we're not finding anything here. Well, Deanne says she's in for that. Oh, this is the one that's the very late dice date, almost completely worn out reverse. Gosh, look at that. The details are just beginning to disappear altogether. These things can look pretty nice if you just look at the coin, because, I mean, you know, the coin itself is a nice gem red coin. It's got, well, this one's not gem, it's choice to gem, but it's got a nice cartwheel, it's got a nice color, it's got nice luster. But man, you look at these things under a microscope and they're as ugly gets. They're almost as ugly as me. Chuck Patillo. Levels, if you could get me a photograph of that, I would appreciate it. Right now, I'm a little bit busy to be taking other people's coins in. Adam Chambers can tell you that next time he sees you. I've had 3 coins of his for almost a month, and I'm finally getting them back into a package back out to him this week. And we got nothing on this one. Chuck Patillo gets a normal coin. We've got coin number 38, and not one die variety yet. We've done this a few other times. We've struck out completely a few other times. But I tell you what, we have actually done better. We've actually done better than 50% on finding good stuff in rolls. We'll have to give it that much. So we have found stuff in more rolls than we've not found anything in. And that's just a matter of... Oh, no, Levels of Madness, I'm not on that show. All you have to do is just send it to cd@coppercoins.com. You can just send it straight to me, cd@coppercoins.com. I guess I'll check my messenger and see who it is that's contacting me. So 1, 2, 3, 4 different people. It's okay. I'll call them up as soon as we get done with this. I expect to be finished with this here in probably the next 10 to 15 minutes. So here's how this is going to work, folks. I'm going to send your invoice for this roll because I haven't done that yet. I'm going to send your invoice for this roll, and I'm going to charge you 50 cents for a second roll. 50 cents a coin for a second roll. You can either just pay the invoice, or you can pay the partial on the invoice. I'll allow partial payments. You can subtract the 50 cents a coin off the invoice and just pay the invoice for this roll and be done. I'm not forcing you to go into another roll. And then those spaces should be available when I open the roll. So say someone bought 3 coins in this roll. I charge them for the 3 coins on the invoice that I'll be sending later today. And they didn't want the next roll. They're good enough with this and they didn't want to spend any more money. Then they do not have to pay for the extra coins. And what I can do is offer those 3 spots to someone on the day of the roll opening, which at this point will be Wednesday. Joe McBride. We still haven't drawn for the wrapper. Nobody's gotten this original Fed Reserve wrapper yet. 1956 Fed Reserve wrapper. From the Los Angeles branch of the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco. Here, let me resolve this issue. There. No more noise. No more noise, and I will get back to them as soon as I am finished with this. I've got one person requesting information on a coin. I've got one person who wants to talk to me about some rolls. I've got another person that I'm working with on getting involved in doing editing for the website. And then I've got another person who's messaging me about my car. So I can't win. I get into these broadcasts. I can spend all day long sitting here working. There's a little die chip inside the 9 of the date there. Spend all day sitting in here in my office working, not get one phone call, not one noise, not nothing. And as soon as I go to broadcast, I'm getting phone calls, I'm getting messages, I'm getting all sorts of things. There is a small bit of what appears to be a lamination where the piece is actually coming out, but it's still attached. That's what it looks like. Yeah, I think that's what that is. I'll have to look at it with my trusty loop to be sure of what it is, but I believe that's what that was. It was a little speck of lamination where the piece of the surface of the coin was actually folded back, exposing a part of the innards of the coin. Let me take a look at this. This would be for Dylan Michnick. I hope I'm pronouncing that name right. Yep. Just struck. It's a lamination, and then the peel came out onto the rim and was struck through. It's kind of interesting. Kind of cool. Well, that's yours, Dylan. That's coin number 42. And Matt 83. That's the next coin in the roll. It'll be coin number 43. I always have really high hopes for these rolls, because the very last thing I really want to do is sit here and open a normal roll for everybody to look at. I really wish I had all kinds of errors and varieties, and I could tell that there was going to be something in a roll before I opened it. But that's often not the case. Very often it's not the case. We have no idea what's going to be inside the roll before we open it. The coins on the outsides are either not the right side of the coin to check, or they are normal. So we have to get into the interior of the roll before we find out whether or not we actually have anything. And because of the all fairness of this particular adventure, I do everything on camera. So given that I do everything on camera, well, we naturally are going to run into some rolls. I'm sorry, I almost pulled another name. We're naturally going to run into some rolls that are going to have nothing in them. And we're going to have a 1-hour show about nothing. Hey, look at that. Who is this? Matt 83. Matt 83 has the wrapper. So that wrapper right there will go to Matt 83. And turn that up just a little bit. So I got Matt 83 on there. Now that needs to go back down just a hair. I have to be able to see my number and who has the coin. That's for review. If I have to go back and review, I want to be able to skip through to the part of the video that actually contains the area I have in question. Oh, that's not what I do with that. What I do with that is I put it right here inside the wrapper, and I let the wrapper roll up. And I do have a couple of wrappers that I owe people that I found. Wrappers don't really have a whole lot of value. They're just neat. James Dowdle. Coin number 44 goes to James Dowdle. And, oh, there's another machine doubling. You can see it on the 1/9 of the date. You'll be able to see it on the inside part of the LIB of Liberty. Or actually, the ERTY of Liberty. You can see it right there on the bow tie. And it is visible on the ERTY of Liberty. But it is machine doubling, and it does not count as a variety or error. Machine doubling is sort of kind of damage on a coin caused by the minting chamber. So it is die caused. It does happen during the strike. If you want to be very technical about it, it is a striking error. But they are so common, they are not sold and collected as errors in my part of the world. All right, that was coin number 44 to Mr. Dowdle. And we got one for PJ now. PJ's next coin. Yeah, it looks like another normal one. Yeah, Seinfeld. This is the Seinfeld of coin shows right here. It's a coin show about nothing. And we have 40 people watching a coin show about nothing. Oh, PJ. PJ gets this one. Coin number 46 goes to Chuck Patillo. Chuck Patillo, coin number 46. Let's see here. Got nothing with coin number 46. Chuck Patillo gets a normal coin just like everyone else in the roll has so far. Master die doubling. Okay, master die doubling is something that happened on the master die. The piece that made all the working hubs, that made all the working dies, that struck all the coins. It is hub doubling. It is original hub doubling. But if you have hub doubling on the piece that makes all the hubs, that makes all the dies, that make all the coins, then you end up with doubling on pretty much every coin minted. So while it is quote-unquote hub doubling, while it is a real, true doubling, it's on so many pieces, nobody collects it. Nobody cares. We've seen this die. It's got the little die chip inside the 9 of the date. You see it right up inside top of the 9 of the date. Take a look at the other side real quick. This is also the one that has a die deterioration doubling at the top of E pluribus unum, because we have a very late die state die. So if I make a mold and I make a mistake in that mold, and I use that mold to press out blanks and then use those blanks to create more molds, and I use more molds to make more pieces, every one of those is going to show the mistake. So if everything has the mistake, is it really a mistake? I mean, yeah, sure, it's a mistake, but it's not collectible as a mistake, because all of them are that way. Starbuck. There's a good fair measure of the 1972 Lincoln cents had master hub doubling on them. There's that big die crack in the hair again. Had that master die doubling on them that shows in the N of in, on the B of Liberty, on the E of we, shows in a few different places around the coins minted. They extend to all three business strike mints and the proofs in San Francisco for 1972. Over half of all coins struck that year, or all Lincoln cents struck that year, were struck with a die that was a repeat of this doubling. That's master die doubling. It's worthless. What about 1955? Hello, Ramon Juan. All right, Chris Vines gets next to the last coin. This is coin number 49 in the roll. These are all nice uncirculated coins. They're pretty. Here's another one with real heavy machine doubling. So we had a loose fitting die that day on the press, and these coins were coming into the chamber, being minted, and then the die would bounce real fast. It's kind of, I don't know, just a bum, you know? And that's what happened. And that's why you're seeing doubling on this coin. That doubling is not valuable doubling. That doubling is just machine doubling. It's a secondary hit by the die, sort of a restrike, sort of a second strike. And it has no real value. And that strike doubling, machine doubling, as I'm explaining it. Eject doubling happens not while the die is striking the coin, but while the coin is being pushed away from the die after it's struck. That all happens within like a millisecond, because, I mean, they strike half a dozen coins a second. I mean, it's like really, really fast. But it does happen very quickly, and it does go by very quickly, but it is a different part of the process that creates the two different types of strike doubling, machine doubling. One of them is the actual strike doubling, which is what we're seeing here, and then there's eject doubling. The difference in appearance between the two is that the strike doubling will flatten parts of the edges of devices and make them, there's that huge die clash again, where you can see part of the C of cent. Down here you should be, there's part of the E of one. So this is one of those die clash coins. The difference in appearance being that the machine doubling, the strike doubling, actually flattens part of the device. So if you look at a letter or a number that has machine doubling, a little bit of that doubling will be taking up the normal size and shape of that particular device. So let's take a look at one of them. It says not it. I can't remember which coin it was now. I'm going to look at coin number 47 again. Let's see coin number 47. That's Dylan Michnick's coin. Let's see if it is one of them. It is not. Okay, so I try number... What was it after that? Was it 48? Let's take a look at coin number 48. You know what? If I'm looking for it, I can't find it. If I don't really care about it, I see it all the time. Okay, here we go. This is one of them. Okay. Get it focused in on this. What you're seeing here, when you look at the 1 and the 9, or better yet, let's look at the bow tie a little bit higher up. If you look on the front side of the bow tie, you'll see that there is a flat little moon shape on the front of the bow tie. Well, that's the actual front of the bow tie. And that little moon shape is part of the bow tie being removed by the fact that the coin was basically struck twice. Okay? And so the 1, when you look at the 1 there, if you trace a line all the way around the 1 and it's doubling, that's the normal size of a 1. Now if you look at the 1, the primary one, you would call it the one on the left-hand side, it's very thin. The reason it's very thin is because the rest of it's sitting next to it. In a real doubled die, it wouldn't be that way. You would actually have a full 1 plus extra. So it actually makes extra thickness, and this doesn't. The eject doubling is going to, when you see eject doubling, it's going to actually lift up around the edges. What did I do here? Okay, Chris Vines got coin number 49. And then coin number 50, I didn't ever draw, and that goes to PJ. PJ gets coin number 50. And this roll, folks, it's kind of a dud. Full of uncirculated coins, but that's all they were. 50 uncirculated coins. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bill you for your spots. But I'm going to bill you an extra 50 cents for each coin as new line numbers, as new coin numbers. And I will allow you to pay partial. And the partial will be the original total of the invoice, or you can pay the entire invoice. Either way. If you pay the entire invoice, you are in on the next roll at 50 cents a coin. Next roll of 1956 D-Lincoln cents at 50 cents a coin. If you choose not to be in, that's fine. I'll sell those spots when we actually get into the roll opening for that roll. That will be coming up on Wednesday, after the day after our big auction. Auction's Tuesday evening, right here on this channel. It's Tuesday evening, right here on this channel. That's going to be the, I believe, the 10th. Yeah, the 10th of December. Tuesday, the 10th of December at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 5 p.m. Pacific. I hope to see you guys here. It is kind of like having the same font. All right, folks. Well, I appreciate it. Peace and love to everybody. And I'll see you Tuesday. I'll see you Tuesday evening at the auction. Be there or be square. Talk to you folks later.